was going to have them playing defense. Why would I even expect that? I didn't expect it one bit. Offensive game plan. Can anybody tell me what the offensive game plan is for this team? Can anybody actually sit down and explain to me what the offensive identity of this team is, other than Stephanie White has no clue? Other than Kelsey Mitchell, iso ball, Caitlin Clark, we're not going to utilize you as a pick and roll. You're going to be a decoy. Sophie Cunningham, not really used either. Aaliyah Boston, we're going to give it to you. And it's freestyle basketball. But worse than that, it's trash freestyle basketball.
Are we really surprised by the absolute disaster we just witnessed from the Indiana Fever today? Because if you've been paying attention to the preseason, you shouldn't be. There was zero defense from this team in the exhibition games, and there was absolutely zero defense tonight. They couldn't stop the Liberty, they couldn't stop the Wings, and they couldn't even stop the Nigerian national team. So why would anyone walk into this game believing that defensive guru Stephanie White was suddenly going to flip a switch and have this roster locking opponents down? I didn't expect it for a second, and neither should you. But the defensive collapse is only half the nightmare. The real tragedy is happening on the offensive end, where a generational talent is being completely marginalized by a coaching staff that seems entirely out of their depth. We need to call a spade a spade. The Indiana Fever are a mess. And we're going to break down exactly why this 107-104 loss to the Dallas Wings is a massive red flag for the entire season.
Stephanie White out of timeout to try to tie the game going into overtime. We use Caitlin Clark as a decoy. Oh, we've seen that before. We've seen that numerous times. Caitlin Clark as a decoy. This game was just bad news bears. There's no other way to...
Can anybody out there actually sit down and explain to me what the offensive identity of the Indiana Fever is right now? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like Stephanie White doesn't have a clue. The game plan seems to be nothing more than Kelsey Mitchell go play iso ball while the rest of the team stands around and watches. Caitlin Clark, the most dynamic playmaker in the league, is barely running pick and rolls. Instead, she is being consistently utilized as a high-priced decoy. Sophie Cunningham, barely involved in the offense at all. Aaliyah Boston is just handed the ball at the top of the key and told to figure it out. It's freestyle basketball, but worse than that, it is absolute trash freestyle basketball. There is no structure, no flow, and absolutely no offensive identity for this Indiana Fever team.
Put it. Caitlin Clark, congratulations to you. 1,000 career points. The fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,000 career points, 250 rebounds, and 250 assists. Congratulations. But, of course, in typical Indiana Fever fashion, Caitlin Clark seems to be injured, banged up, dinged up. I'm not sure. She was in the locker room. She came out of the locker room. She got worked on coming into the third quarter. She stopped getting worked on. She put on her back brace. She didn't put on her back brace. Holly Rowe just said the Fever training staff appeared to be doing something with CeCe's groin in the tunnel, but couldn't confirm that. Caitlin is now back on the bench with a heating pad around her lower back. So,
The misuse of Caitlin Clark is bordering on coaching malpractice. I counted maybe 4 true pick and rolls for her the entire game. When she actually does have the ball, the team makes no coordinated effort to get her open. When she's off the ball, it's even worse. I watched a play today where Caitlin gave the ball up at the top of the key, set a quick screen, and then cut all the way across the baseline. She ran past 2 of her teammates, and not a single one of them bothered to set a screen to free her up. Are we genuinely shocked by this lack of execution? Maybe if you still believe Stephanie White is some brilliant tactician, you're surprised. But if you look at the reality on the court, this is exactly what an unprepared team looks like.
But something's going on. Whether it's confidence or something. Something's going on. And we need to figure this out. The Indiana Fever need to figure this out. Shout out to everybody in the venue. They're saying it looked like Caitlin Clark didn't even have fun playing today. It didn't even look like she was excited to play. It looked like she was subdued, sluggish at times. Now, I'm not saying Stephanie White broke her, but she's bending for sure. Something's going on.
This game was nasty work from start to finish. Don't let the 107-104 final score fool you into thinking this was an exciting, fast-paced shootout. It was just a complete absence of defense from both sides. The Dallas Wings didn't play much defense either, but in the first half, they applied significantly better ball pressure and denial than Indiana ever did. And the rotational decisions from the Fever bench were absolutely baffling. Aaliyah Boston only played 26 minutes. Why? Lexi Hull was apparently on a minutes restriction. Why? Stephanie White's in-game management is just not very good, and her out-of-timeout plays are even worse. When the Fever desperately needed a play out of a timeout to tie the game and send it to overtime, what was the brilliant strategy? Use Caitlin Clark as a decoy. We have seen that predictable trick entirely too many times.
Take a look at these box scores. Like I said earlier, one quarter the Indiana Fever won. 29-20 in the third quarter. Every other quarter they lost. Every other quarter they lost. Second quarter they lost clear as day. First quarter they lost. Closing the game out, they lost. Kelsey Mitchell, 11 of 22. 2 for 9 from 3. 30 points. Caitlin Clark, 7 for 18. 2 for 9 for 3. It's not good. I don't know what else to tell you. 5 turnovers for CC, 7 assists. We're just not playing her game. We're not playing her game. We're not playing anybody's. We're playing Kelsey Mitchell's game. I mean, this is the Kelsey Mitchell system, I suppose. It's the Stephanie White system. It's not Kelsey Mitchell's fault that Stephanie White wants to.
Now, despite the chaotic offensive system, we have to acknowledge a massive milestone. Congratulations to Caitlin Clark for officially becoming the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,000 career points, 250 rebounds, and 250 assists. It is an incredible achievement. But, in typical Indiana Fever fashion, the celebration was immediately overshadowed by drama. Clark appeared to be banged up and dealing with an injury throughout the game. She disappeared into the tunnel, came back out, got worked on by the trainers, and spent time on the bench with a heating pad strapped to her lower back. The broadcast suggested the training staff might have been looking at her groin in the tunnel, but nothing was confirmed. So here we go again, playing the frustrating injury guessing game before the season has even really started.
Stephanie White's not very good. She's not very good. There's no offensive game plan. There's no defensive game plan. There's no offensive identity. There's no defensive identity. It's go out there and just do something. Folks, at the end of the game, Stephanie White literally had Austin Kelly controlling the huddle because Stephanie White is clueless. No idea what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Hey, Austin, what do you think they're going to run, Austin? Okay, yeah.
But beyond the physical injuries, there is a much more concerning issue brewing. A lot of fans and analysts are starting to ask the uncomfortable question, did Stephanie White just break Caitlin Clark? Now, I won't go quite that far yet, but something is undeniably wrong. Clark just won a FIBA MVP, playing through an injury, yet today, she looked completely subdued. Fans in the arena noted that she didn't even look like she was having fun out there. She looked sluggish, disconnected, and visibly frustrated. If she's not creating an unassisted shot on her own, Stephanie White seemingly has no idea what to do with her, other than stick her in the corner. If the coaching staff doesn't figure out how to restore her confidence and integrate her into a functional system quickly, this season is going to derail fast. Let's look closely at the box score, because the numbers expose exactly what's wrong with this team. Kelsey Mitchell had 30 points, but it took her 22 shots to get there. Caitlin Clark finished with 7 assists and 5 turnovers, shooting 7 for 18 from the floor and 2 for 9 from deep. Her 2 successful three-pointers, both were simple catch-and-shoot looks. The other 7 misses were the result of her desperately trying to force something to happen, because the offense refuses to scheme her open. This isn't just a bad shooting night, it's a symptom of the Kelsey Mitchell system. I can't even blame Mitchell for taking those shots. It's not her fault that Stephanie White has decided to craft the entire offense around isolation plays. But when Sophie Cunningham only shoots the ball twice in an entire game, your offensive distribution is fundamentally broken. The contrast between these two teams was glaring. When you watch the Dallas Wings, you see the ball moving, you see players cutting, and you see them actively utilizing Jessica Shepard in effective pick-and-roll and pick-and-pop situations. When you watch the Indiana Fever, you just see isolation after isolation. But the most alarming moment of the entire night didn't even happen during the run of play. At the end of the game, in a crucial moment, Stephanie White literally handed the huddle over to assistant coach Austin Kelly. She looked completely clueless, with no idea what play to call or how to execute it, leaving it up to her assistant to figure it out. I've been saying they didn't do enough in the offseason to build depth, but the bigger problem is that they don't have an identity on either end of the floor. The Indiana Fever are in serious trouble, and the coaching staff needs to answer for it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Is Stephanie White the right coach for this team? Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, take it easy.